Have I gotten your attention? I surrender everything, like a shadow in the dark you cannot see. I remember.
Yeah, we saw you at the rock. G'day guys. Most of you will recognise this from one of our recent trip videos that we went on. Hello Sophie. And I just wanted to unpack this just a little bit more, just mainly for our beginners that follow us and in our beginners group, just to give you an idea of the circumstances that led up to this issue. Dogs, can you not see that I am trying to do a video? Okay, let's be serious. Go and do what dogs do. Oh, off you go. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I just wanted to unpack it a little bit more to go back to show you the circumstances that led up to us coming across this couple stranded on the side of the road that had obviously lost control of their vehicle, and it could have ended up very, very nasty. They were very, very lucky. But anyway, as you can see, the weather conditions on this day, it was a Sunday I think it was, a front had come through Perth that morning, and we were obviously 300 odd kilometres east of Perth and copped the side of it. It realistically hardly stopped raining all day long. There were some pretty serious rainstorms that came through. The wind would have been up around 50-60 kilometres an hour. It was pretty windy. It was not a pleasant day for driving on dirt roads, and the dirt roads, some of them were very slushy and very slippery. Now there are ways to combat this. I myself and others out there drive a full-time four-wheel drive. It has all the electronics. It has what's known as electronic stability control. It's a very hard word to say for some reason, I don't know why. Anyhow, ESC, it has this, which combines of traction control, ABS braking system. Basically the computer powers the wheels. It sends the power to the wheels that need it the most, depending on going around corners, loss of traction, whatever the situation may be. There's a lot more in depth into it, I'm sure, but that's the basics of it. And realistically, this stuff is fantastic. You know, you literally don't control the vehicle controls you. You just get in it, push the go pedal, push the stop pedal and steer it, and the computer does everything else for you, which is absolutely fantastic to a point. Now, when you come up against a slippery surface, it is not a good idea to have traction control on, because it takes that control away from you. Now, basically, I will put my vehicle into an off-road mode, which disables some of these systems to give me more control of the vehicle in off-road situations and even on dirt roads. As you can see from the outside camera, the weather has absolutely turned to shit this morning. Just after we left Balaji Rock, it has not stopped raining and it is blowing a gale. It's making for interesting driving. These roads are very, very slippery, so I've just got it into four-wheel drive mode just for a little bit of extra safety, because it is very, very slippery on these roads. So I don't like having it in auto drive mode on a dirt road. I prefer to have it in an off-road mode where I get some of that control back. And just to give you a bit of a background, before we got to this situation, we left one of the other rocks that we were looking at. And the problem with these modern vehicles with these electronic four-wheel drive systems is when you turn the vehicle off, it resets, goes back into auto drive mode, and you literally have to get in, switch it back into off-road mode and go. And on this occasion, I had forgotten to do that. And we were driving down the road coming up to the T intersection for this road here. And this incident happened 100 odd metres down from the T intersection. So it gives you an idea of how slippery this particular road was. And as we were coming up to the intersection, I applied the brake. Now remembering I'd forgotten to put it back into off-road mode, and the car said no, the road is too slippery, my wheels are locking up, I am not going to apply the brakes. And when the ABS kicks in, the brake pedal shudders and the brakes don't engage. And I was very close to running up the back of Brad, who was in front of me. Now fortunately, Brad had the same problem. So had he been able to stop at the intersection, I might very well have run up into the back of the trailer. But he had the same problem. When he applied his brakes, his ABS kicked in, pedal did this, car didn't stop, and we had to drive around the corner. We got around the corner quite fine, no issues whatsoever. But that gives you an idea of what it's like driving a full-time electronically controlled four-wheel drive on a dirt road, especially a slippery road. That's what can happen. So I always advise, and I always try myself to disengage that, put it into an off-road mode. If it's a standard two-wheel drive, put it into 4-high and run it in four-wheel drive, because that is what can stop this from happening. Now this, I'll say they were a retired couple out camping for the weekend, or they could have been on a big trip, I don't know. We didn't really involve ourselves as to what they were doing, but they looked to me to be a retired couple driving in a Hilux.
Only issue is you've got a tow ball there.
Now you also have to remember that we're driving modified vehicles. They have aggressive tyres on them, we have modified suspension. The vehicles are equipped for these sort of situations. This particular vehicle is in two-wheel drive, it's a standard Toyota Hilux. It has no modifications. It's running normal highway pattern tyres and size, and no modification to the suspension at all. So in this situation, to try and avoid this from happening, my suggestion would be always travel in four-wheel drive, just to give you that bit more control. Because literally what happened, this car is in two-wheel drive. He might have been going a little bit too fast for the conditions, and the trailer obviously started fishtailing, which made him lose control of the vehicle, and he slid off the road. Now he was very, very lucky that he hit that at the angle that he did, because he could have ended up on his lid with the trailer upside down next to him on top of them, and we could have come across a very, very nasty situation. Now the wife you can just see in the background, and I'll show you this clip, or I would have shown you this clip as we went along. The wife in the background was hanging on to her cup of tea for dear life.
We actually don't have phone reception here. So
No, it's very intermittent.
So it was pretty much like, if somebody doesn't come, I'll be staying the night.
Yes. No, we will get you out, never fear.
Thank you.
And she was very, very happy that we came along when we did, and we were able to rescue them. So they'd had a bit of an ordeal. Not sure how long they had been there for, because we saw them at the rock that we visited that had the water tank.
Right, we made it to another one of the rocks that we planned to come out and have a look at. This one has a wall on it that funnels water into a massive water tank.
And we then went to Bonnie Rock, and we drove around Bonnie Rock for a little while, because we actually got lost trying to find a different way out, but we eventually found our way out, and from that point on is where we came across this couple in this situation. So my advice would always be travel when you're on dirt roads in four-wheel drive mode. If it's corrugated or it's very, very slippery, probably a good idea to let a little bit of air out of the tyres. We hadn't dropped any air out of our tyres, probably should have done. Would have been a little bit less slippery, but again, we're driving modified four-wheel drives, aggressive tyres, suspension lifts, better suspension than what you would normally have on a standard vehicle. So a little bit more equipped and used to this sort of driving, but just something, you know, to think about when you're out there. Even if you're just towing, you're not going four-wheel driving. If you're on a dirt road or you're in treacherous conditions on dirt roads, always a good idea to have it in four-wheel drive just to give you that bit more control. Anyway, I'll let you watch the end of this video and we'll come back and talk to you afterwards.
Yeah, he was at the rock. While making our way along to our next destination, we have come across somebody who's run into a little bit of bother on the road. He seems to have lost a bit of control, and this is how slippery these roads can get. Looks like he's lost control and gone off the road. So we're going to help him out. Gary's getting into position and we're going to winch him out. Yeah, we saw you at the rock. Only issue is you got a tow ball there.
And it's buried. Buried? I do have a shovel I can dig it out for you.
Yeah, we need to try and get that off, because winching off a tow bar, a tow ball, is not that good.
Get this.
Just blocking the road off here just in case anybody comes down here so they can see that there's something obviously going on. Better put the hazard lights on in my vehicle. It doesn't have a recovery hitch, he's only got a tow ball, so we've got to try and get that tow ball off and get a recovery hitch in there. If it's easy to get to yours, because I've got to undo my tyre carrier.
Oh, brand new one. First time it's going to get turned.
At least the trailer didn't go over, that's a bonus.
Well, at least we didn't go over. The whole thing, it just
But yeah, look, I hit some up there where it got all sorts of ugly. and I'm driving with muddies on.
Yeah, well, we just finished having the conversation up the road how both mine and Brad's ABS kicked in because it got very slippery as we rounded the corner up there, and this is what can happen. Go. To all your friends that we rescued you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
guys, I'm so appreciative of your help.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, helped us out.
That's
so
all right.
good.
Anytime.
We're deep shit. And, you come along at the right time.
That's all part of the four-wheel driving community. That's what we do. So,
Thanks,
all right.
guys. We're so appreciative.
All right, no worries. Safe travels. Driving a straight line, okay? Everything all good now?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another successful rescue of a Toyota by a Jeep. Had to throw that one in. Yeah, very lucky that that didn't end worse than what it was. Basically, the road is slippery. They have lost control of their vehicle and slid off the side of the road. So, just going to go past them now. But they were lucky we came along when we did, and we've managed to winch them out to safety. So they're all good now. They're back on their way and very appreciative of what we did. Gave them a sticker, so hopefully they'll subscribe to the channel and they'll be able to see their rescue on this here video.
So there you go, guys. Very interesting. As I said earlier, these guys were very, very lucky and very, very happy to see us come along and pull them out of the situation they were in. So I hope you've learnt something from this. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you to those that support the channel. If you haven't already hit subscribe, please do so. Every subscription helps us along with the channel numbers and boosts us as far as YouTube goes. So yeah, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you in our next video. Cheers guys.